everyone, and welcome back to Operation Persian Freedom for the A-10C II in DCS World, and welcome to Mission 4, Downtown. So on this one we have a night mission. We have been tasked with taking out a silkworm radar facility on Hormuz Island. Meanwhile, another two-ship is going in to take out a second silkworm facility in Kashem Island. These are ground-based anti-ship missile batteries that are holding the coalition forces at bay, and so we're trying to tidy these up. We have the location of the silkworm radar. We are to take that out as a primary target, ideally also take out the actual launchers themselves, with then a secondary target on the north side of the island being a storage facility where they are holding more silkworm launchers, with the slight caveat that we do have to be very careful on the secondary site to use precision munitions because it's only 300 feet away from a local town. Big difference on this one, as you can see, is that it is a night operation, so night vision goggles time, but let's jump in and see how it goes.
Not much more. At the minute there's a lot of theories, but little hard evidence. I heard talk of Syria insurgents being behind it. It's possible. The UAE is predominantly Sunni, with only a minority Shia population. Iran, on the other hand, is a Shia nation, so it's possible that the threat to Iran has now prompted these attacks. You think Iran could have had a direct hand in that? It's quite possible. You heard of the Quds Force? I've heard the name, but don't know many details. It's an element of the IRGC, part JSOC, part CIA. They work within other nations running intelligence and special operations. They've materially supported groups like Hezbollah and Hamas, as well as supporting the insurgency in Iraq and even the Taliban, providing weapons, training, finance and expertise. I wouldn't at all be surprised if they were working with groups this side of the straits. Yeah, disrupt the coalition forces within their own borders. Tie up our resources defending, not attacking. It's a smart play. So how hard have we hit Iran so far? Hard. The riot system has taken a heavy hit. Most of the fixed SAM sites and radars have been destroyed. Their air force is still operational, but we put the closest air bases out of action, remaining Iranian air is stationed in the north near Tehran. There's still a threat there, but one we can contain. We certainly have air superiority over the southern part of the country. The last 2 nights we've been working hard to disrupt the command and control and logistics of the military. Pulled a lot of teeth so far, but there's still a lot of bite left yet, especially in the air defenses. Not quite the permissive environment we had in Afghanistan then. No, not yet. We still believe there are a large number of mobile SAM systems in the Iranian inventory. Less dangerous than CNS A-10, but more likely to surprise us. How much of a threat are the silkworm missiles to the Navy? They're an older design, but still quite a potent threat. They can cruise over
Then after a flight do arrive to rendezvous with our seed flight that's going in before us and just check in with them.
Razor 3-1, this is Gunman 2-1. Gunman 2-1, this is Razor 3-1. Good to see you, Razor 3-1. Gunman 2 holding a marshal as flagged. We're picking up 2 SA-15s in the target area, hoping you can help us out. Copy, Gunman 2-1, continue to hold, we're moving to engage.
I just hold and circle for a while, and eventually the seed flight goes in and they accomplish their mission.
Overlord, Razor 3-1, both SA-15s are down.
Copy, Razor 3-1, Gunman 2-1, you are clear to enter the target area.
Gunman 2-1.
Gunman 2-1, we have reports of a heavy AAA over Bandar Abbas. Recommend you avoid approaching that area.
Copy, Overlord, heavy flak over Bandar. Gunman 2-1.
And while circling and waiting for the seed flight to do their job, I had plenty of time to check out the island with the TGP and picked out a number of sites. One of which here looks a lot like some kind of AAA position, and I wanted to take it out. It didn't get taken out by the seed flight. Bit concerned that it's a shilker or something that might bother me as I'm going after the rest, and so decide that it's getting a Maverick. I have to get really quite close to get a Maverick lock compared to a TGP lock, but eventually do manage to get it here, and then rifle one away, and then turn to give myself some distance. Now I don't actually keep an eye on that one, instead I just let it go. It does get the kill. It is just a ZU-23 on the back of a Ural, but it was a AAA threat, so I'm quite happy having used that Maverick to take it out. Makes it a lot safer for me to be operating at lowish altitude. Probably didn't need to, but I was playing it a little bit safe. So anyway, I gave myself a bit of distance, came back in, got a TGP site lockdown on the actual radar station that I'm supposed to be taking out. Decide, because the briefing tells me that ideally I want to take out the entire base, the entire launcher set, that I should be using a cluster bomb for this. Unfortunately these are dumbfire cluster bombs, but still I put them into CCRP mode, go in, do my best to get a very nice drop, seems to be nicely lined up, and pickle. And then, as normal, turn away and evade. And this I do keep an eye on as it's dropping, keep the TGP with a line of sight so I can see what kind of effect I have. The missile comes in, and I get really, really close, but not really close enough. It falls a little bit short. I'm not sure if that was me not having the quite perfect release point there, or whether that was me forgetting to laze the target to get accurate ranging, might have made it a bit off, or it might have been wind or some other factor there, but I did miss. I was dropping from 17,000 feet, so I'm expecting there to be SAM sites in the area, and a dumb bomb drop from 17,000 feet. It's not too bad, a hit there, but wasn't enough. The SAM site is still operational, no effect on target. So then I do something incredibly daft. I decide that, okay, maybe the CCIP would be a better use of this. Problem is, that's not exactly the best choice for a night mission where you can't see the target, but I do use the TGP line it up, and so I'm using the speed point marker on the head-up display to line up my plane. Don't really do a very good job. This is not a good dive here that I'm doing. I'm trying to come as vertically as possible to be able to release from a very high altitude, and really kind of mess it up. I do pickle anyway, and then pull away, doing my best not to go into the ground. And unfortunately, I never see what happens to this bomb. I can't see it at all anywhere on the TGP. It seems to go well off of target. So another no effect. So at this point I decide that now I've messed around long enough, I've wasted 2 bombs, I've put my plane in danger for no real reason. I do have a Maverick, let's just shut this thing down. And so turn in and fire off a Maverick. And then pull away. And as I turn away, look outside with my NVGs and see a bright flash, and then turn over to the TGP and got direct hit. That is the primary target now down eventually, but none of the secondary launches have been hit. I didn't realise at the time, but multiple infantry were killed in the area, including a man-pad, so that will help me in the future, but the actual launches are still there. So the secondary target site is the storage area that is already marked for me, so nice and easy for me to grab and find. This one I was saving my laser guided bombs for, since we need high precision weapons for this one, and this makes a nice laser guided bomb target. Problem is I don't have the best approach here, I really didn't give myself enough room, I should have backed away, but I kind of pushed through anyway and pickle. And then unfortunately what I have done wrong is during this I have accidentally hit the DMS right command while having the targeting pod selected, and so it's moved over to the IR pointer instead of the laser designator. I do thankfully realise this, fix it in time and actually start lasering the target. And sure enough, with the laser on, the bomb manages to get its target, and nice shack with a nice set of secondaries there. That is the secondary target completely taken out. Now I do still have ordnance, and there are still these Silkworm launchers on the coastline, and so I decide, well, before RTBing I may as well try my best to take out as many as I can. So I roll back in with my laser guided bomb, this time giving myself enough space to get a nice proper drop. And this time, because I actually have the laser designator set, it does auto lase as I set it up to, and so just wait for it to go down, and shack. Still have one more Maverick left, so that means that I can roll back in, get another Maverick lock on one of the remaining launchers, and fire away. Now I do get disoriented, I fly a lot without the NVGs just because I find using the MFDs a lot easier without them. You can set them out so you can see them with the NVGs on, but I don't manage to get anywhere near as good contrast no matter what I try. And so I get a bit disoriented here, end up in a bit of a dive while I'm trying to recover, might just see in the bottom right there. Do get the shack, that missile does hit, and I do recover this weird spiralling dive that I'm doing. Now here I am again pretty much Winchester, except I do have my A-10 GAU-8, which is a wonderful gun itself. I do search around the target site just to make sure, and I can't find any man-pads in the area, so I decide I may as well try and go in, take out what's left of the site with my cannon. So head in and do BERT runs. And here as I'm going in, I do start firing from very long range just in case there are any man pads, but I decide to keep going so I don't see any kind of sign of return fire, just aiming using the the speed marker on the head-up display there, and then pull away. And so just recover my altitude, get a little bit of distance, realise as I put on my NVGs that I've left my infrared pointer on this whole time, so I've been shining a little infrared light at these guys for the entirety of this attack, but do check. And indeed, on the targeting pod, I can see that site is down. And so that is all of the Silkworm launchers destroyed, and so time to go home.
Overlord, good 121, Charlie and Delta destroyed. I am RTB.
But unfortunately, before I can RTB, I'm asked to contact Whiplash for some emergency tasking, and so dive in there, see what I can do with my 500 bullet.
Whiplash, Command 2-1, available for tasking. Command 2-1, we have a UAV monitoring the area that has picked up a squadron of fast-moving boats moving out and head straight onwards. They pose a threat to our ships and shipping lanes. We have confirmed as hostile targets and you are cleared to engage at your discretion. I will call out location updates, so keep monitoring this channel. Copy, Whiplash. Engage fast-moving boats. What armament are they carrying? Command 2-1, eyes on heavy caliber guns. No sound capability spotted, but proceed with caution. Command 2-1. Command 2-1, the boats are heading southeast from Marak Island.
Now, unfortunately, what I was counting on when I agreed to take on this was I do have a wingman who has still got his full load, but it's apparently not an option to ask him to engage, which is really annoying. Even when you're directly over the targets, there's no option for it in the F10 menu, which is how this campaign handles the AI. And unfortunately the default engagement just wasn't working at all. The default comms weren't working. I don't know if it's technically on a different channel or what. So either way, he and his full load of ordnance were useless and just sitting around. I did manage to locate the boats in the end with the targeting pod, managed to catch a glimpse of them. There's a bunch of them. Unfortunately, all I have is the gun. Still, I lock the targeting pod on them so I can see where they are and dive in with a cannon and do a few ill-advised passes trying to vaguely aim for where they are going to be, but really don't do a good job here. In the end, I just end up pulling away and deciding to try and play it safe and evac from there. I can't do anything against those boats, the Navy will have to handle them.
You okay, Steve? It was pretty intense out there. Yes, sir, I'm fine. Primary and secondary targets are both destroyed. Okay, good work, pilot. Did you see the activity over Bandar? Looked like Baghdad did back on CNN. Yeah, it was insane. I must have seen over 50 explosions down there. It makes quite a show on the MVGs. Yeah, it certainly did. Did you guys see the casualty numbers that Elmin had? Yeah, it was a bad attack. Tough day all around yesterday. Yeah, Steve, you had a tough call to make on that truck. I know. Fighting in this way against an invisible enemy. I mean, show me a tank and that's a simple decision. But when you start using civilian trucks and clothes... There was one mission back in Iraq. We had troops in contact and they were pinned down and taking mortar fire. The enemy were clearly coordinated and organized that day. I had made multiple gun runs on the insurgents' position, but they kept coming. Eventually, someone figured out there was someone in the field controlling everything. They pinpointed his location and called in a strike. I got that call as well. Turns out it was a man on a bicycle with a couple of phones. No weapons. I put a 500-pound J-dam on his head. The guy broke down soon after. Christ. There was a strange feeling pressing the pickle, but it turned out to be the right decision. Probably more difficult choices in the weeks ahead. Yeah, probably. Well, that's the job. I hate to say you get used to it, but... You do. You've just got to have faith in the mission and the information you're given. And if you don't believe in the mission, make sure you believe in the kids on the ground.
So yeah, managed to get back, and so a little bit of a mixed mission. We did accomplish the original 2 objectives, along with a stretch objective of completely taking out all of the launchers on the site. Fortunately, I chewed through so much of my munitions doing that I really couldn't do anything about the boats. And just a bit unfortunately, we couldn't call the wingman in to deal with the boats. I'm guessing there that what I should have done is, well, got better at dropping the cluster munitions. Would have helped quite a lot if I'd actually managed to hit with those clustered bombs. I could have done a huge amount of damage to that site, saving me the Mavericks, which I could have been firing at the boats to at least do some damage there, maybe some splash damage on adjacent boats. Or I could use my wingman to engage those targets, and so then had more for myself when it comes time for the small ships. But either way, primary, secondary objective and stretch objective all completed, and so pretty fun mission. Did enjoy that very much. Don't normally enjoy night missions, but that was a lot of fun, and look forward to jumping into the next one. I hope to catch you there, and until then, remember to be kind to yourselves and everyone else. Cheers.